There's is it Perspective Pete? All that good stuff. Anywho, my people are kind of funneling in. If somebody can let me know too, let me know the audio's okay. Because sometimes that gets a little goofy. We're driving to the destination at the moment here. Figure I'd jump on, say hello. Hope everybody's doing good. Before I forget, there's a couple things. One thing is, bear with me. I'm a little sick. I got a little cold or something. It's not really making me feel too ill, but it's that whole head sinus thing. Kiddos all had it. Of course, they spread it to me. I thought I was immune. I wasn't going to get it. Nope. I got it. I think I'm on the crest down, but I'm still like a day or two from the peak there. So I've still been kind of stuffy and, just still not feeling the best. A little bit low on energy. So no big deal. Also, the other thing I wanted to add was that you are more than welcome at any point. That's what I do the lives for, is for you guys or for people coming in or newbies or just anybody. You're more welcome to ask questions, business, garage door, whatever you got. So don't be afraid to ask the questions. I think we're there. I think this will work. This kind of feels like home, doesn't it? I think this feels like home. So, also, kind of the theme, I was thinking about it a little bit, and I kind of wanted to bring it up to, oh no, we're switching over to Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's going to cut out. Well, we'll see if it blanks out. If it does, let me know. Say the internet's cutting out. Sometimes it acts goofy. Right. There we go. We got power. We're looking good. All right. I love it. Here we go. Cheers. Oh, man, it tastes good on the throat. So, you guys want a little light? Let me know if you want light. Want light? Now we can see. Oops. Operator error here. Could figure it out. Let's do a little light, shall we? There. Oh, we need a little more. There we go. So, I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to see if anybody else has been experiencing it or seeing it. Scammers. Boy, it seems like scammers are coming thick and heavy lately nowadays. You got to really watch it. So one of them, I'll just sit here and kind of blabber. One of them I've been noticing is stuff through Marketplace, through Facebook Marketplace. And what's happening is they're providing, so what it is, there's somebody out there that will post something for a reasonable price, service of some sort. They will get payment, the real payment from the customer, right? And then what they're doing is they're dispatching you out. And the problem is you just, if you don't follow the protocol, it's more for like online orders and stuff. But what'll happen is you go out there, you do the service or whatever, right? They're going to render you payment, or you've already been paid, technically. The problem is it's a bogus card. So these credit cards, it's getting me wondering about these credit cards a little bit, because these credit cards seem to be fraudulent. They can pull the money back. I almost, like I said, I've kind of said it before. I'm kind of a bigger, I feel like I like the Venmos and stuff like that better, because once they throw that money in there, it's they can't pull it back. You know what I mean? So that's kind of nice. So that's something to look out for. Now, another one that we got to play detective on a little bit. We got something in town that something goofy's going on. And maybe you guys know, maybe you don't. Maybe you got a clue. Been trying to wrap my head around it. I'm going to give some details. I'm not going to probably give all, because it's still in investigation mode. But we kind of got this issue where we're getting this little trend going on here. This little trend is that people are somehow, like today, right? For instance, we have a customer that calls, and come to find out that customer, we call them a couple hours later, say we're going to come out. They say, no, somebody already came out. Huh? What do you mean somebody already came out? Somebody already came out. And then what's the funny part is the person that comes out says that they'll do it on the side. They'll do it on the side. So I'm not quite sure what is going on with that. I guess there was another thing that was happening on the east side of the state that's kind of going on, some kind of other scam. Haven't quite got all the details on it yet. But I guess what I'm saying is just be diligent out there. Use your common sense. Honestly, I used to always think about carrying the marker, for checking to see if the paper, the money, the cash money was any good. Because we've had quite a bit of that around this area too that's happened. And the worst part is if you get stuck with it, you take it in, the bank catches it, right? They say, this is a fake $100 bill. You're basically out that $100. The bank's going to say, well, don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to go back to whoever gave it to you. Yeah, right. Like you're going to know who that is. Especially if you're bundling the money together and all that kind of stuff. I see Guy ×2 says hi. Hello. I hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a great evening. Another one is with the scammers, like I said, plus I've had bad checks. That used to be a really common trend a while back. I mean, I got to a point where these bad checks were coming in. It was so bad that I was actually going to buy one of those. I think we could buy them. I don't remember if we bought them through the bank or how we got them, but there was a way to do it. It was cellular, and you could run the like what they would do at the grocery stores, where they'd run your check through, and it would verify that the funds were good. Because I was getting people that write me $300, $400, $600, $1,200 checks, especially the residential ones. And a little tip just for you. Hey, I see. Is it? I'll say YP. Otherwise, I'm butchering your name. It says, love your content, man. He says, please keep doing these lives. No problem. I appreciate you saying that. That's the stuff that keeps me going. So thank you. Thanks for the cheers. So I was gonna buy this because I would have. What we found is funny. We still do it in all the businesses. In a sense, we actually you copy the checks. So you copy them. Now, obviously, you gotta file them and lock them up and stuff. It's all kind of technical stuff. You can't, consult with your attorney, right? But here was the problem: if we didn't take a copy, we get something back from the bank that says an amount of $321 is not going to be, it was a bounce, basically a bad check. And sometimes they don't give you very many details. So you're like, what the, how am I supposed to, like, who the heck is this? You know what I mean? So you're supposed to go through everything, and then you got to read names, and now you lost the check, where like the check is the secret holy grail, right? The check's already got their name on it. Their check's got their address on it. Sometimes the check's got their phone number. It's got the routing. It's got everything. You know what I mean? It's like you're like locked into like, oh yeah, I remember this job. I remember who went here or this or that. And that was a sweet lady. I'm sure it was a miscalculation, or you know what? That one was a little goofy. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if they knew what they were doing, type of thing. Just stuff to think about. What's up, Sky? Been a while, buddy. Dave rocks. Love it. Dave doesn't feel like he rocks so much. I can tell I'm feeling a little jazz, a little under jazz here, like kind of a little slow. The brain's not processing as fast as what I'd like it to. That's right. What's up, Sky? Cheers. I got Wes in the house. This is my Wesco. He's getting kind of worn down. Can't even see it anymore. Oh, yeah, it says there. So that's a Wesco. That's a gas station we have here. Sky, you probably don't have any Wescos. I'm assuming over there. So I call this is Wes. I always give my cups names. It seems like I'm weird. I always pretty much got Wes, or I got Bubba. But that's what his name is. It's named Bubba. Bubba works out really good when it's really hot out. So it's just things to think about. Like I said, I was told too that those markers possibly don't work always for checking bills. Like the $100 bills, $20 bills. Something to think about. But anyway, I think I forgot to mention. So we got kind of, like I said, we got somebody that's showing up there, going to do it on the side. Things aren't adding up right now. So we got a little fishy going on around town here, and so it sounds like we're going to get some more details in the next couple days of what was kind of really going on. We got a customer that's going to have it's going to have some stuff. You know what I mean? We got some intel, maybe some camera stuff. See what's going on here. Something's just not adding up. How is this even happening? You just never know. You just never know. Excuse me. So what else is new? Anybody got anything out there? Anybody working on anything? Starting up the business? Thieves. I should tell you about the Thieves. You got to remember the garage door business, right? There's a lot of ways of Thieves. I've seen a lot of different ways. I've seen a lot of product that gets legs and walks away. Sometimes your list. Ooh. What you got there? What's YP got? He says, I work for the Red Ribbon Army. Ooh. Our new text was using the comp truck to do Uber Eats. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. See, it's kind of everywhere. So YP, do you guys have do you guys got GPS on the trucks? I'm just curious if the Red Ribbon has. You'd be a good one to ask some questions on. You know, like, are you guys do you do both? Do you do residential and commercial? Or you guys pretty much just like heavier commercial? It's kind of weird. The Red Ribbon brand over here, I used to do a lot more tear outs of the overhead product. You know what I mean? And it's like they all kind of just phased out. Like I don't see them anymore. And it wasn't it was one of those things. It was like it was their time to go. You know, they're just old doors or customers hit them or something. So we come in, and it's just weird how we don't like. I just don't see them anymore. I just don't see them anymore. Oh no! YP says, dude ran over an Uber customer's grass. Oh, customer called Red Ribbon to complain. Oh man. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm so happy you shared that. Oh man. I don't know why. You know, I get such enjoyment out of that because it just makes me feel not alone. Because I've dealt with so many of that stuff before where it's like you get an employee, they're like, can I take the truck home? Can I take the van home? And I'm like, oh Lord, what is it gonna cost me? You know, and it's like you don't want to be like mean, you know what I mean? But it's like it seems like sometimes it's always the new guys, right? They're always the ones that are in a pickle, they're in a problem, and it's like, dude, like I need you to like you know, like here's a helpful little tip for life. If you're starting out and you're a young person, right? When I started out, I got this is an old Nissan I'm driving, right? 2003, a lot of miles, 200,000 on it. I know it could fail. And you know what? I've had a brand new service van that failed too, right? Alternator went out on it. Supposedly mouse chewed it, whatever. I don't know, right? Vehicles fail. Well, my point is, even if it's new, medium to old, have two. Because one's going to be in the shop, and one you need to drive at least back and forth to work. And if you're like me, you know, I didn't have a lot of money, so don't go beating them up either. I was just talking to a family member. I won't mention his name, but he was telling me, he goes, oh yeah, I go 2-track, and I said, wow. I said, but this is like your daily driver, man. You know, yeah, but you know, I said, well, I wouldn't do that to my daily driver. You know what I mean? Like, this has got to get you back and forth to work. That's what makes you money. But yeah, people will they run into those problems with those service vehicles, man. I tell you. And I didn't want them going to the bar. just stuff like this. I mean, like I said, nowadays, like I said, it's always, I always try to tell the guys, right? I always go, look, you might as well just don't lie. Just don't lie. You know what I mean? Because you're going to get caught eventually. You know what I mean? If you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. There's cameras everywhere. We're being tracked on our phones. There's everybody's got a camera now. I mean, they're all like like in the Matrix, right? What's the agents? They all morph into the agents. That's what they morph into. I love it though. The guy ran over and caught them through the ring camera. Oh my gosh! I can only manage. I can only imagine what the manager or who's ever in charge was like looking at this and was just like, "Oh, what a nightmare." So you're a resi. So YP, I got a question for you. Do they now? I seem like I asked somebody before and they were like, kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. But do they train you guys, or it might have just been the technician? But when I come across a lot of residential overhead garage doors, a lot, at least in my area, the corners were always nipped. So, like, let's say for your drop, right, your back hangs, perforated angle, whatever you like to call it, your sticks. I don't know what they call it. What's any other words they call them? Drops, kickers. I don't know. I don't really call it kickers, but back hangs. Um, they always nipped the angle off on the corner, like, so you, like, if you were up on like washing your car or something, you would like smack your head and like it just gouge into you, like kill you. And I always thought, I was just like, I always kind of thought that was a nice touch, you know. Now I never did it, but I always seen it on their stuff when I would tear their stuff out. I was always like, was their stuff already come pre-nipped like this? But I'm sure it's because they got the chunkers, you know, the ones. And I always just thought, that looks a little nice, you know. Like, I'm not doing it because I use a Sawzall. That's all I had. But you know, the nice 45, just a little nip on the corners, just to keep them smoother a little bit, just so they weren't so pointy. Because, boy, I tell you what, when I was a kid, before I knew garage doors, my mom's old house, I had my truck that would be parked in there. And I'd always climb in the bed of that truck. I'd have to, I don't know if I was washing. I think I'd be washing the hood or whatever, the roof. Or I'd go back there to get something. This is obviously before I knew garage doors, right? I tell you what, that damn J arm was always, you know how it's got like the J, but there's the bar, it comes down. And like, you could technically, you know, a good installer could, you would like nip that bar off so the J just kind of flows. That damn bar always came down. And man, I'd always, I mean, it'd be like, you know how it is. You lift up too fast, bam, in the head or in the back, and it's like that pain that you can't reach to rub it, and you're just like, ah, and you just want to like take, get a baseball bat and start beating the hell out of it because you're just so bad at it. Where now I look at it and I go, gosh, I don't even know if I would have had the tools, honestly, to cut the J arm, because I didn't have a lot of power tools back when I was a kid. I mean, it was all, I don't even know, a hacksaw. And I didn't know garage doors enough. I figured, whatever it's got to be there's for counterbalance or whatever, So YP says, but he says, good idea. He says, yeah. So like I said, so obviously I always thought maybe it was like they were trained, from the red ribbon. They were always trained to have that kind of stuff. I don't even know what they're sending, YP, I put my email below. If you want my phone number, let me know. I'll give you my phone number. But like I said, I'd love to see some of your installs. You know what I mean? Like some of the overhead brand openers. What are they? Are they basically Genies? They're Genies. Are they still using Genies? So there's badged. I just love to see some of the products that they're using. I just haven't seen overhead. Like I said, we don't have them in our area anymore for residential. It seems like the overhead here, I'm not saying they don't, but I feel like they probably they just cater to commercial. That's all they do. Like they do really, really big commercial. Like I hardly ever see them doing resis around here parked in somebody's driveway. Hardly ever. I'll see them go to like, warehouses or something, like driving around through town or something a little bit, but I haven't tore out an overhead in forever, at least a residential one. But commercial, I can normally tell they got the oval, lights. They might have got rid of them now. I'm not sure on the commercial ones, but that was how you can always, the big old bubble looking windows on there. but I see them a lot at the big jobs. Like we're talking, whatever, 15, 20 plus doors. It seems like another company around here has it pretty dominated for kind of the medium, 6 to 12. Georgia? Yes, Genie's. The Resi is booming. Man, that's crazy. Huh. Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool to see. Like I said, even if you sent me pictures of like just the neighborhood, the houses. I mean, I love all that kind of stuff. Service truck, tools, battery packs. I don't know if you guys do. The one was like when I went down to Arizona, they had a pretty cool setup in their truck. They had he had like an inverter, or I think it was, yeah, I think he had a couple DC batteries or something outside the truck in the bed. And then they had like an inverter behind the seat. And then all he had was a cord, you know what I mean, on the side of his truck, and he'd undrape that thing, and that's how he'd power up his opener. Now, the only thing I didn't like, I was kind of like, I was like, it's kind of a little goofy. It's not the end of the world by any means, but the cord was underneath the garage door, which just psychologically bothers me because when the door goes down, it's not sealed. It's like, that's not sealed. Oh, that's the cord. Whatever. How far do you go down? Like, I like listening to the door. I'm very like funny about how my doors come down. I like to hear the cush, or is it locking up? Is it too much? But it was a cool little thing. I mean, nowadays, I don't even think they had the power packs out when I went down there. You could probably just use a power pack, Milwaukee or DeWalt. That's crazy though. Resi's booming, huh? I don't think we got much Resis around here booming. Maybe a couple cities over. It might be a little more, I'd say, but I tell you, the area of like Muskegon, Michigan, is, I swear, sometimes I feel like this place could be the first indicator what goes on, what's to come, right? What's to come. So sometimes, because it's I don't know, it's kind of a weird, like it's I always like that saying, it's the biggest small town. So it's kind of weird just how like if the economy has any kind of sluggish, it was funny to me, like for example, right, when they gave the stimmy money out, dude, it was just everything. I mean, it was so busy. I was talking to some of the not maintenance guys, but automotive guys that are on the main drag, and they're just like, we're so busy, like everybody decided to get the cars fixed and blah blah blah. And it's like, now you kind of go past there and it's kind of like a ghost town, like you're like, oh, they ain't really got much. But I guess they're having a lot of problems too with employees. Some of them are really struggling. The employees are they're tough. They can be tough, you know what I mean? So they're having issues. So some of them can't turn around, so it looks like they got a lot of cars, but they don't. Check email. I sent you some pics from Friday. Really? Yeah, I don't think I've seen them. Maybe I'll have to check maybe they got diverted over to the junk mail or something goofy. Friday though, huh? Huh. At least I don't think I missed them. Normally I see the emails pretty decently. Like I said, sometimes, but I don't remember anything checking on them. So definitely, like I said, I'll look for them. Otherwise, send them. Just send me a test email too. You know what I mean? Just so I know it's there and I can say, "Hey, I got you." I didn't see them or something like that. Because I love that kind of stuff. Just whatever, man. Bottom seals, rollers, just anything. Bird nest above the opener. What kind of openers are you guys using? Gray-headed units? Or are you guys using the black-headed units of the Genie/Ribbon brand? You know what I mean? I always felt like, oh sweet, just sent it out. I've always kind of felt like, the ribbon companies, it's got its own, like I like how you said it. You said like the army, right? It's got its own class of people, that's for sure. And it's kind of I don't know. I'm not like, I'm 50-50. I'm biased on it, right? Because it's like, I think what gets me the most is like, I'm always like bummed that like they got that RSX, that commercial jackshaft opener that I drool over. And I'm like, Genie stinking makes the darn thing. And I go, but I can't get it. I see it. It came through. At least it said something about NO on it for the email. So that's cool. But I don't know. You know, it's kind of like it's like everything you buy from them, especially if you're not in the army. Um, man, they'll rake you over the coals. I used to get sections from them for commercial, and then I went to I'd purchase the Richard Wilcox. So, what's up, boys? What's up, Tony? Tony, how many subs you up to? Maybe we get you a few more. Do a shout out or something. You think you need 50? If you haven't, you should go check out Tony's channel. He's got Papa Tony's got a channel now. He's trying to beat son/Uncle Dave. 23, nice. Yeah, keep her going. Like I said, it takes time. Tony's got some good stuff. He's got a lot of years of knowledge too, and he's quite a hoot to listen to. Me and him like to give we like to give shit back and forth. So it's a good combo. It's fun. Just sent it now. Sweet. So the Richard Wilcox, though. Yes. Seems like I had a customer I'd always bang into him. I feel like it was a maroon color. Man, I was always painting garage doors for them. Always was a bummer. I don't feel like I'm a pro painter. So I did the best I could. I think I sprayed them. I'm pretty sure I sprayed them. So that wouldn't have streak marks. I'd sit there and mask off everything, in the garage and sit there and bomb it. Probably not do the best prep work I could have probably done. But man, those overhead guys. Like I said, the truck too. Oh yeah, I'd like to see the truck. Truck could be a good one to see. Service truck. All kinds of stuff driving around the road tonight. So anywho, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other scams out there I've been thinking of. Scams or theft or all those kinds of rings out there. If anybody's heard anything too, comment. Because I'm, like I said, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on out there. I wonder, Tony, do you accept credit card? I'm assuming Tony does. And if you do accept credit card, do you charge a fee? Because that's always that gray area. You're kind of, yes, the old credit card. Tony, I don't think you don't do like Venmo or anything like that, do you? Cash App. What's the other one? I feel like it's Fidelity or something like that, but I could be wrong with that name. Tony's got, 3%. Yeah. It's always kind of a bummer, right? People are always like, I'm going to use my credit card because I get free frequent flyer miles or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm paying for that. Sometimes it's just weird how the system works, Ooh, dang, Tony does even Apple Pay and PayPal. So Tony, what Eric, he says, hey Tony and Dave, what's up, Eric? So that's kind of cool. I'm interested, like Tony. So like, do you get? I mean, I don't know if you can really do like a percentage, but like, do you feel like you get a lot of people that pay you, that way? I'm like, because we don't do any of the Apple Pay or PayPal. As far as I know, it's just credit card, cash, check. That's really about it. Interesting. Huh. So I'm wondering, though, I'm sitting here thinking, like, if they pay that way, is it harder for them to retract it? Like, how the credit card can get retracted pretty easy. So I'm assuming, is the Apple or the PayPal Because I feel like PayPal, you could always do it, but you had to kind of, you know, you had to go through some loops to retract your money because they always made sure it was kind of fair, you know. So yes, a lot of young one. I gotcha. I gotcha. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. I should ask Cap about that. See if he's got anything that you know, if it's something you know, like I said, the thing is we don't do a lot of commercial or residential. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. It is kind of weird how people will, you know, it's weird because I knew I you know, I don't know where it's gonna lead, and I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, I guess I kind of like to hear your guys' opinion on it. You know, when I first started out, you know, we basically it was phone book and the fax machine. That's how old I am. And like I said, I know Tony's he got like a couple years on me, not much, but that's all we ever dealt with. And we had our clipboards, right? That all had our information, blah blah blah. And we started kind of getting the emails. You know, the emails started coming. Well, now, you know, I look at it nowadays too, and I go, wow. I don't know if this is all a money grab, but man, it's getting to be nuts. Where you know, you think about it for like, let's say for advertising, right? You got Facebook, you got Nextdoor, you got Craigslist, you got. I guess some people still use the phone book. You got the phone book. You know, I mean, it's like you know, you got the list, you got Instagram, you got tweet, you got X, you got whatever, man. I mean, the list goes on and on. And it's like, how in the heck do you know, manage all that in a sense? And then I think about with all this payment nowadays too. It's like, and I typically you want to accept any form of payment, right? That's always kind of the golden rule. But my goodness, man, it's like, you know, you're gonna walk up and you're gonna need like that Google car that's got the twirly thing on there or the cameras to process payment. You know. Oh, what's Eric got? He says I'm thinking of installing. Is it Carly? Hello. I'm thinking of installing a box store app. I want to go with Chamberlain because Genie's sectional rails is trash. How do you differentiate the models with AC and DC motors? That's a good question. Maybe somebody's got the answer on that because if we're talking about the Chamberlain, aren't all the Chamberlains, aren't all of them DC now? I don't think they make an AC. But I would agree. I kind of forgot about it because honestly, I've been spoiled. So I apologize. I apologize. Because on the one video, somebody commented and said, you know, like, you know, are you talking about the professional line of Genie for that rail? When I was kind of like, I wish the customer would have went with a Genie instead of a Chamberlain. And I realized when they were talking, I think it was Andy. I think Andy was the one that was mentioning it. Maybe I could be wrong. And I was like, oh, I was like, you know what? That's right. I was like, I have put the store box ones of the Genies together, and I would agree they feel really cheesy. So it's like if I have to go with a, but now you know what? That's bull crap. Here's the thing, right? That's what it is. I figured out the riddle. What it is if you go with a Genie, you go with the screw drive. That's why I love my screw drives, right? If I'm right with this, I believe I'm right with this. If you go with a Genie screw drive from the box store, it's got the nice C-channel rail. Now, yes, you got to slip it together. It's got the couplers, but it's a channel, right? Like a C-channel. But if you go with a chain drive, those ones are the ones that are that tubular rail, and the screws that go on the head unit, like you can buy the cheaper model. They just everything feels really, really cheap. So I'm like, if I'm gonna go a chain drive, Or I think if I'm probably going to go a belt drive. See, I don't remember if the Genie's. I need to deal with some more box stores. But I remember putting installing the Genie screw drives. And even though it was a piece together rail, it's not as nice, but it worked. It did a pretty good job. I thought it did a great job, honestly, for what it was. But yes, Chamberlain. I'd probably go with Chamberlain. You know what I mean? For the box stores, for their tubes and stuff, the trolley feels right. Um, they work pretty good. What you got? What you got? What got? What do we got here? Kevin says model numbers should say on the box. Anything with battery backup will be DC motor. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for that. No, that's Genie. Is all DC. Okay. I didn't even know Chamberlain was still making ACs. Honestly, I figured they were all DC with that variable speed to them, where they slow. I guess in my mind, when I think of AC, I think of a junker. Like it fires up and it goes, not the slow stop and slow start, all that kind of stuff. So I didn't realize that. That's Genie. He says. Tony says MC and back of trans remote. Eric says, I've never installed a Extreme, and don't you bother. Don't you waste your damn time with those Extreme garage door openers. I hate Extreme garage door openers. I hate Extreme garage door openers with such a passion. With such a passion. I've had so many customers, they've tried to install them. I've had photo eye issues. I remember we had one. Now, to Extreme's credit, we had a customer that they didn't build their garage. They bought everything as a kit. It was all of like a year plus or something, a year and a half, 2 years later. They built the garage, and they had the opener. And, of course, I installed the door. And they're like, can you also install our opener? We got an opener. And I'm like, sure, not a problem. And I look down, and I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, God. Wow. So I installed it, right? It wouldn't work. And this was my first one. I'm like, this is no surprise. I mean, they always had some glitch to them. And so I ended up, I called them. Now, like I said, Extreme, I told them, I said, well, here's the thing. I said, this thing's brand new. They're like, not by the build date. And I said, I know. I said, but they didn't, I said, they bought this. They haven't built the garage. I said, I'm a technician. I said, I'm installing it, So I said, I'm going to do one. Needless to say, though, we installed it. They had to wait. They weren't real happy, whatever, And I just told them, I said, these things are like junky. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying not to insult them, but I'm just like, these are not very good products. And the thing only lasted probably about another 6 months, a year, and it failed. Oh, I forgot too. By the way, if you're cruising through, whatever, don't forget, hit the like button. Just brings more people in. So please hit the like button. So anywho, it failed. I went back there, and I'm doing oh, here we go. And luckily the husband was there, and he's like, look, I want something that works. He goes, this is ridiculous. He's like, please just get me something that'll work. Like, I know it's going to be, $400-600, but just get me something. And I'm like, psh, I'm your man. I'm like, I'll get you a LiftMaster. And so we installed LiftMaster, never heard from him again. But just so many problems, those things. So cheaply built. Horrible. Just horrible. I think that's why... I've kind of learned the trend, like with Menards. I think a lot of manufacturers are doing this too. I think it's kind of crummy. I think what they're doing is they're trying to run stuff for, I'd say the 5 year, might be 3 to 5 years. They changed the product, right? So like Menards used to sell Extreme. I don't think they sell it anymore. I feel like I see them somewhere still online or something like that. I think now they call it Pro Max or Performance Max or something is what they sell. It looks like the same thing, just a rebadge. But what I learned one time, because when I went to the Menards, I had a service vehicle, so of course, there's somebody seen me walking out of the van or whatever. They pull up next to me and they're like, "Hey, you do garage doors?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, I do." And they were like, um, I got this I had was a Wayne Dalton garage door opener, and I said, "Oh," I just right away I said, "Oh," I said, "Man, those things are junk." Young kid basically, right? Shouldn't have opened my mouth. And I remember the guy was like in his car, and he just kind of looked at me like, how could you say that? Like, well, it's lasted me for 20 years, and I'm just like, uh-oh, I assaulted this guy. So I'm like, oh, and he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "That's what the guy inside said. He said the same thing in Menards." And I'm like, well, I'm like, that's that's showing you something. And he said, well, he said, that's why they quit selling them. And I didn't say any more to him. I said, well, this and that, gave him a card, whatever. But a light bulb went off my head, and I went, oh. I said, okay, I get it. You sell something for 3, 5 years, you know what I mean? And then you discontinue it. So that way when customers come back and they go, hey, this thing should have lasted longer than, 3 years or 5 years or whatever they do, and then you go, just think about what it does for the whole company across the board, how it makes their life a lot easier. You think about the associates, the young kids they got working there, the ladies, the girls. They, you know how it is. We're all young. We don't know what, we're just like, we don't have those anymore. Think about what that does for them. They're like, we don't care that anymore. The guys sitting there all kind of mad. Well, blah blah blah. Well, I guess I'll just have to buy one of these ones now. You know what I mean? That's right. They don't have to warranty it. They don't have to try to look for parts. They don't have to dig through boxes, try to pull parts out of an opener because somebody's trying to help somebody out. Because my grandpa was one of them. He actually had a Wayne Dalton, bought two of them. He was a big Menards guy. And anywho, I need you to come up here. Of course, my grandpa doesn't live close. He's lives far away. He lives like an hour and 30 minutes, I think, one way. So I go up there, and one opener is sitting there just fine. The other one hums. I mean, it hums. Like, it hums so loud, like, I was sitting there thinking it's going to turn into like a Tesla car, and it's just going to explode, and fireball's going to come out of it. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't keep that plugged in. I was like, you could probably burn down. He's like, well, what should I do? He's like, should I, just, buy another one and then take this one, throw it in a box, just tell them I want a refund? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know if they sell them anymore, which I don't think they did. But either way, I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't like the J bars on them. I didn't like the disconnects, especially for an old man. Uh, his doors were like 8 foot tall, so they're a little high. But how is Residential Genie compared to? I'd say I'd go with the Genie before I go with the Extreme. That's just me. That's how bad I think of the Extreme. I think that, like I said, I don't know if there's anything that beats the Extreme. I mean, it's just the bottom, that Guardian product. It's kind of like that one I touched a while back. That was a Craftsman. I believe it was a Guardian though. So the back circuit board just brought back all these memories. Like, oh, Fruity Toot. Don't he says, Eric, don't. There you go. Listen to Papa Tony's telling you don't. Uncle Dave's telling you don't. Don't do it. I don't care if it's a good price. I don't care nothing. You just tell a customer, I don't install those. I don't do it. Nope. I don't install anything besides the Craftsman. I always just tell the customers. That's what I always tell the customers. I always just tell them, go with a Genie or go with Chamberlain. But for some reason, when it comes to the box store ones, I do gravitate towards the Chamberlain. Um, Unless, like I said, it's a screwdrive. Genie. I like the screwdrives. I just love the screwdrives. I'm a screwdrive guy. What's that? What's Eric got there? He's got like a little something. Is that his mask? I don't know. He's protect himself. Extreme take straight to the dumpster. That's right, man. I got a really old video out there, and some people kind of beat me up because I probably worded it wrong. So, oh, and by the way, if you're cruising through whatever too, don't forget, hit the like button. We got 4. We got 4 likes. Let's see if we can at least maybe get up to like 8, would be nice. But there's a video out there that I installed a sectional garage door. I feel like it was low headroom track or something was goofy. It was kind of my beginner phase of making videos, very amateur. It was like a really harsh cell phone I was using. Um, But I remember I installed the door. And it's one of those things, right? I made it very clear to the customer. I said, look, I said, if you decide to do a garage door opener, because I knew the door just, the way it was in there, and the way how tight it was, and the way everything was just configured, it was not a good running door. It just, no matter how much, we're talking like jams are twisted and stuff. I mean, everything is just, this whole building's been kind of rectified, but not by not a good builder, let's just say. It's just floors unlevel. It needs all the help it can get. And I was willing to basically like take a really good haircut on the opener. Like I'd almost probably do the opener for cost, which is really stupid, right? You need to make some money. But I mean, I would do it probably for like $50-100 because I wanted this door to work good for this customer. So I made it very clear. I was like, look, if you do decide, because I just kind of had a feeling maybe there was like an outlet or something they wired up or something. I just had this weird, like, where's the opener? And it was like, the secretary's like, well, they don't want one yet. Or they don't have the money, blah, blah. Okay, that's understandable. Like, I mean, I get money's tight, everything. But anyways, they bought an extreme garage door opener. And they decided to put it on there. And it jacked up the door. And I about guarantee that it was probably because he ran it past a certain point. He somehow lost the cables. Something was goofy. And like I said, this is going by some old memory. And anyways, I go there now. Now the door's it's got a kink in it. And I'm just like, oh. And then I'm like, why does it have this pile of junk extreme garage door opener on there? And so I kind of really bashed the extreme garage door opener. And people were like, on the video, they're kind of like, well, you really you should have fixed the door. And I'm thinking, you obviously didn't see or know what I did. I don't think I made any video of doing the door. And I was like, the problem is I installed the door. The door was good. It was a hard moving door. Something was goofy about it. And that's why I was telling the customer, like, hey man, like, you need to have a professional install this, which is me. And I'm going to know what opener, and I know it's still going to be probably another $100, $200 on what the box door is, but I got to install something good on here, like a good chain drive or a good screw drive, something slim to maybe fit between the rafters or whatever. And he bought that stupid extreme garage door opener. And it was like, now it's like tarnished. You know what I mean? Like now I'm like, I don't even want to touch this thing. Like, I don't even know what to do. Now the door's got a kink in it. My strut is jeopardized. Obviously, like, this isn't really my fault. I wasn't the one that installed this. Like, now somebody else has come up here and I mean, it's like the car manufacturers, right? It's like you go put big tires on it and a roof rack and whatever else on it, right? Dual exhaust and all that. Hey, warranty's voided. I think that was one that really made me think about it. And I don't know if like Tony or anybody else out there, like, does anybody, like, where do you draw the line? Like, where do you draw the line? You know what I mean? Because I was like, I was ticked. I ain't gonna lie. I was ticked. I was like, man, this is stupid. And I thought, so like, what if I get this door working and this guy's like, my door's got a kink in it. Yeah, it's got a kink in it because you installed the opener. You know what I mean? I told you not to install the opener. So I don't know. Like, that was where I kind of got, like, I almost wanted to be like, like in writing of some sort, like, if you install your own opener on this, you void the warranty of the door. We're going to warranty it for a year, basically no cost. We come out, we'll take care of stuff, whatever, which there's hardly ever anything that ever breaks anyways. It's always an adjustment or something. But I was mad. I was like out there. So I was really harsh on the extreme garage door opener, old video. And, people were like, well, if the door was working right, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not it. I was like, I should have explained this better. Like, it was because the customer went behind me and they bought the cheap of the cheap. And I knew they were going to do that because they were looking for cheap. And I was trying to explain to them because it might even have been like a Lowe's install or something. It might even have been like an Amar door. I can't quite remember. I knew it was goofy though. Tony says, that's right, come on. Eric says, I really want to buy an extreme and see how long it will last until it fails. Huh. You could just take your $100 bills, and when you go down the road, just do this. That's what I used to think all the time when I'd go up and down Apple Avenue. Hey, we got up to 8 likes. Thank you for hitting likes, you guys. But anyways, I used to do that all the time. How many jobs I'd have to go back to, or something wouldn't go right, or the product wasn't working right. I just sit there and I'd get so frustrated sometimes. I'd literally think I'd just go, let me just open up my, couple. Oh no, no, yeah. Here you go. And just throw it out the window because I get so irritated with some of that stuff, man. And Extreme is one of them where it's like you better off sending that $200 or whatever is $300. You just throw it out the window and let somebody else put it to good use. You know what I mean? Because they are nothing but piles of junk. I mean, it's like I wouldn't even put it. I just wouldn't even put it on anything. There's nothing I'd probably put it. I don't even think I'd put it on my dog's coop if I put a garage door on his coop. A chicken coop, nothing. I don't know what they're good for. I just cannot. Their buttons feel like junk. Their wall buttons feel like crap. They have circuit board problems. It seems like I don't remember the internals so much on them. I never tore one apart. It wasn't worth my time. Horrible setting limits, just horrible on top of horrible. The way they run, the way the trolleys go together, or I should say the trolley even's junk. I mean, just the cheap of the cheap, man. Like I just wouldn't even. I even told the guy last when I worked on. I said, dude, I wouldn't even put this on my grandma's house. You know, he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Fails. He said, also like to try a Skylink. I don't know much about the Skylinks. What's up, Edward? How you doing? The Wayne Dalton iDrive was a nightmare for me. Never fixed one, but replaced a lot. Yeah. You know, but I feel like at least with the iDrive, at least from my memory bank, it would at least work. Did it work perfect? No, but it worked. And the limits would be goofy and stuff. It was a bear, I ain't gonna lie. But I still feel like the Extreme is lower because I had so many of those Extreme, right out of the box. And I'm like, click, click, click. I'm like, hello. You know how you're pushing the button longer and you're like, hello, okay, let me unplug it. Why is this thing not moving? Like, what is going on? Every time I seen him, I just cried. I seen a guy one time, I remember, he had the photo eyes, like the wires all draped up there, and he's like, they told me it needs another set of photo eyes. He's like, this is the third set. You know, and I remember the photo eyes still working. I'm like, I really don't think it's your photo eyes. I said, I think it's the circuit board. Really? Whoa, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are we going to do? I'm just going to shrivel up and pretend I don't live here, or I not live here, but I'm not here. You don't even know who I am. I'm nobody. You never called us. But I'd be well, we really need to install this. You know, we install a LiftMaster or a Genie. And most time they do it because they're so frustrated. You could get them to do it, but they were so bad. So bad. The iDrives or whatever. Yeah, iDrives were pretty bad. Like I said, we installed 2 of them. I think they had 3 versions of them, of the iDrive. And like I said, we installed 2, and that was enough. We were done. When we didn't have our mechanical limits to set, and it was supposed to learn. And I remember that I don't think I'll ever get rid of that beep noise, when it chirp. I think it came out of the head unit. We always were trying to figure out when we first fired it up. It was always where's that coming from? Is that the wall button making that noise? Got the arm that comes down. It was it's too bad they really didn't take off. Because I don't know. I look at it and I go, the idea is kind of there. When you think about it, right? I look at it and I go, if somebody's like, oh, I want my garage to look clean or whatever, they were kind of a slick system. You know what I mean? And then it kind of forced you into the Wayne Dalton garage door too, right? So you're like, well, hey, you want that nice, and I know they had a conversion piece, whatever. it's just too bad they couldn't have like build them to be more robust and just more reliable. And I would have liked to see more um, mechanical limits of some sort, or programming, or done it from the keypad of some sort. Because the idea, they were slick. They were slick. I mean, I think they're probably more slick than even I think of the genies, or I think about the LiftMaster, the side mounts. They were, you think about the force, you think about the logistics of it, how it's torqued and everything. It's doing it through the tube, the teardrop tube and stuff. It's just, I don't know. They just couldn't get it, man. They just couldn't get it. There are some caveats to it though. Where do you put the light? That's why trolleys. Just, man, if you can live with a trolley, go with a trolley. The Pro Max, Rich says I don't touch them, or the Pro Max. Pro Max, is it Pro Max? Is that like the old? Is that old genies? The Pro Max. You have to let me know, Rich. Oh, Tony says he's got hit the light, guys. Those are awful. Pro Max, right? Pro Max is a genie, isn't that the old genies? The black. Was the Pro Max too the one that had that weird, like, I'm trying to think of my wife's parents' old house used to have it. Had some screw in the back, really hard, like to set limits. Very, very temperamental. It was like kind of like after I touched it, I was like, dude. New ones at Menards. That's what they're called, the Pro Max. Oh, you know what? You might be right. Oh, I can't check them out. I'm using the phone. So say, let me check that out. Yeah, Menards always has some pretty low class stuff. First, that's why I got to kind of stick with, like, which I'm kind of surprised, because Menards is kind of weird like that. Like, they don't really carry far. They don't still. Like, I think, what do they got? Rich probably knows. What do they got? Like Bosch for like power tools? Like, it always kind of bugged me that like Menards never has, like, they don't ever have DeWalt. They never have, like, I don't think they have Makita. They don't have Milwaukee. They've always had like kind of like the Bosch. And I really don't know much about the Bosch tools. I forget the other one they had. Did they have Porter Cable? They had Porter Cable there, I think. I don't know. Eric Scott, here we go. Perfect. Here's my list of red flagged ops. Extreme, Skylink, Modern DC Liftmaster, GD Chain Glide. What is that one? The GD, is it Track Drive? I don't think I remember that one. Liftmaster, Jack Shafts, iDrive, the Marantech, Stanley. I probably won't do this. I can't say that one. S'moros, or whatever they call it, the s'mores. But I haven't seen one fail yet. It's kind of weird because, like, excuse me. It's kind of like the Marantech, right? I've only played with a couple. But like I said, the one I had, I put it through a lot of hell, man. I mean, I'm talking like pretty much brownouts to power, leaving it off unplugged for, 6 months to a year. I mean, just not one time. We're talking multiple times. And I couldn't believe every time I plugged that darn thing in, it just always, the keypad worked, the remotes worked, nothing lost memory. But like I said, the programming, it was goofy. It was goofy. It's kind of like one of those openers that I go, I don't know if I'd want to do this in front of a customer. That's just, at your ankles or sniffing your hiney, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. I got to read the instructions again. Probably one of those openers I would definitely really recommend that you build at the shop or house or whatever and play around with it. Definitely. New ones at Menards. The Pro. Oh, Edward, he's got the GD Pro Max. Were rock stars. I don't remember working on them. They were pretty big head units. We did, I don't know what was common for them, but it seemed like they lose their limits or something goofy a little bit. Those were, I almost want to say those were kind of before my era. Like, it was just like, we go in there, they don't work. It was like, I didn't really understand the unit. Maybe Edward can comment, like, what was common to go wrong with them. because it was like if they had any kind of glitch to them, I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, we just tear it out. We're gonna install a LiftMaster. There you go. Joe's guy, he says, hit the like. So hopefully you move up, he says, and get a bunch of store unit, is it contracts? Move up to the UP? Is that what you said, Joe? Up to the UP? I don't do much storage. Like I said, the storage units are not like I always talk about those are like we cannot compete on those storage units. They just don't interest me for some reason. Bosch Master something. Maybe it's Mastercraft. Isn't it Mastercraft? For Rich got on there? The Bosch. Anybody run Bosch tools? I mean, I don't know if like Menards has like a good, are they pretty good at warranting them? Are they decent tools? I just don't even know anything about them. All I know is one time I bought their, gosh, what is it called? It's called like their Shop. I think it was like Shop Pro or Shop Max or something like that. I remember I bought a drill, hammer drill. I had to put a toilet in. And I had to get the flange or do whatever for the concrete. It was brand new or something in a garage. And man, I tell you what, I was so used to using a DeWalt. I thought, well, I'm gonna buy my own. I don't want to use the businesses, and plus business was kind of far away from my other house and stuff. So I was going to Menards and pick up one. I used that thing, man. It didn't have no guts to it. I was like, forget this. I took that thing right back. I was like, give him my money. I said, something either wrong with this thing, which I don't think that was the case. I think it was just underpowered. I said, where's the dog? They refunded me, no problems. But I was like, screw that. I'll wait till the next day when I'm at work or whatever. I'll go get the big dog, man. I was like, I'm not dealing with this crap. Yeah, I think they do have. It's a weird looking Pro Max, the labeling on it, because Eric says he's thinking probably Pro Max is Genie, in my opinion, the best machine they ever made besides legendary screw drive. That's why I was just kind of wondering if maybe Edward could comment on those things. Master Force. There you go, Eric. Oh. It's like anytime I see the colors, the yellow or whatever, when I'm at Menards and they got like a sale, like they'll send you the flyer in the mail. I'm like, don't do it, people. Don't do it. It's like I want to be in the store and like see somebody looking at garage openers. I'm like, I get in front of them. Stop. You don't know what you're doing. Please spend another $40, $60 and get this. Please, for the love of God. Yeah. Rich says, that's it. He must have got it. Eric says, Veritech, we had issues with the remotes and boards. Oh, they are also very slow. Yes, they are slow. I don't know if you can get the better models. Those are faster. I suppose the lights on them are better. The one I had was the cheapest unit, and the light on it was very, it's kind of sad because I don't want to beat him up too bad because I forget what's his name. He was a super nice guy, even at the ID show. He's the one that hooked me up with two of them, which is super, super nice. They didn't have to do that. I mean, it's not like Genie or LiftMaster or anybody else has done that. But, it's always one of those things. Instead of giving me two, it might be better just to give me one good one. You know what I mean? Because, like, when I was like, because he was asking about, I think, was it Bryce? I think his name was Bryce. Bryce was a cool dude. And Bryce was like, he's like, yeah, those head units are pretty weak. We'll send you a few extra light bulbs, to plug in or something. And I was just like, yeah, it's like, plus I agree. I was the same thing. I was like, good golly, this thing is like, I like slow doors. I do for like the customers and longevity, like especially commercial doors. But, that was too slow, man. It was too slow. I got a Craftsman running tonight. The 75. Ooh, 75th anniversary. Nice. Nice. Well, guys, if you haven't, you have to watch my video. I posted it tonight. It should be loaded. I think it's up for the LiftMaster. I think it's a 3265. Man, I was so happy. I was so happy I got it running for the customer. Everything inside looked really mint. I don't think it had a lot of wear on it. She hasn't called back, so, you know, knock on wood somewhere. But she, you know, I was like, man, I think this thing's better than what you got in that box store one. I said, I'd try to get this one going. I said, let's give it time. I said, I have no problem if it doesn't work out. I said, well, you know, we'll swap it out with what you got from the store. Edward says, we installed many. He says, the photo eye connections were my problem. He says, screw post on side of light. Ooh. Ooh. A lot of times they get fatigue. Wasn't that it? They get fatigue. They break off. Had a lot of those break off. Corrode. It's always kind of a toss-up, isn't it? This is the way I always feel about it. It's always a toss-up between, you know, Genie and LiftMaster. Like, I always looked at, like I always liked, I kind of like the Genies for retro, you know, or like you're doing a tear out, reinstall something, whatever, you know, because like sometimes you can cheat and you don't feel bad about it, where like you can just nip the wires and, you know, just, you know, if somebody left you pigtails, at least, come on, right? Leave some pigtails. You know, you cut it, whatever, and then you can, you know, splice it in to your photo eye. Where, like, when it was the LiftMaster, I just didn't feel right about doing that. You know what I mean? Because I've had callbacks on it. So I'd always run typically all new wire. You know, I'd rip their stuff down. I'd run all new wire. And it was like, dang nabbit. It's like, if we had a Genie, I just nip the wires, leave it, you know. But I really have a hard time doing, I've had problems with it before. The connections fail, corrosion. So I'm always like, like, I don't want to do that. So I just, you know, do what I got to do. The Black Rail Tony. That's what Eric's guy says. Is that the screwdriver with Black Rail Tony? Ooh. My grandma used Bosch. She said the same pretty good. Oh, that's good. That's awesome. I just never used it, so I don't know what their product's like. Tony's Garage, Eric. That's Rantec. They not very user friendly either. Yeah, that is kind of the problem with them. That is very true. Edward's God, he says, we quit dealing with them when Overhead Door bought Genie way back when. He said that made getting parts near impossible as Genie quit selling the parts. Dang, that's a bummer. What a bummer. How could they do that? Bunch of jerks. Tony's guy says, yes, there, I put a new coupler in it tonight. Made a video of it running smooth. Sweet. Yeah, definitely go check that out on Tony's channel. Like I said, got it running. That's awesome. It'd be kind of interesting. Like, I'd like to hear you guys' opinion on it. I don't know why. And this is like that whole thing, like when you're eating food, right? And you look at something, you're like, I'm not interested. And it tastes just, it's fine. It's good for you, whatever, right? And you just look at something, you go, I'm not eating it. You know, but the screw drives, I don't remember. I know a grandparent has one right now. It's a Chamberlain. And then this one's the one that's got like it's like it goes in between the headlamp. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the cover. But anyways, in your guys' opinion, who do you think makes a better? I'm kind of talking like in general or overall or the older ones, a better screwdriver. Was it Genie or was it LiftMaster? Because I'll tell you my opinion. And like I said, this is why I'm asking, because when it comes to the LiftMaster, they always looked really goofy to me, right? Like, I see them, I thought, this looks retarded. Like, it just didn't look right to me. Not saying they're bad, not saying they don't work or anything. I'm just saying that's the way they look to me. But when I looked at the screwdrives, they made sense to me. The way they kind of worked, and they were the aluminum, the older ones, right? They'd always get a buck to them or something if they were pieced together. That was kind of problematic. Uh, but I just like to hear. Did you like the LiftMaster? Because now here's the thing too, right? LiftMaster Chamberlain does not make a screwdriver at all, right? Anymore, as far as I know, I haven't seen any new ones, anyways. It's just like they don't do it anymore, which I'm really surprised if that's the case. Eric says Cuffler tonight made a video. Bosch hammer drills are great. The big demo ones, Rich says. Well, that's good. That's good to know. Like I said, I unfortunately, the hammer drill I bought was whatever that. What do they call them? Wasn't it called Shop Pro or something like that? They had, I forget. Menards used to Shop something. I thought. I don't know, but I think it was a pile of junk. It was like their brand Tool. The Tool Shop. I think it's Tool Shop. Is that what their stuff used to be? Tony says that's too funny, Dave. He says I've done that at Menards. Their customers. Derek says, yeah, he's got to check that out. Tony says, I saw one at a garage sale years ago, and that it had weirdest thing ever. He says, metal silver K screw drive with the gloss black rail. So Eric's kind of talking about, that's what I mean. They always just look so bulky. I can't say that the genies were like way quiet or anything. They just seem like, I don't know, something just seemed off with them a little bit. But that's what I'd like to know. Like I said, I mean, it's just one of those things. I could have been where I always looked at them and I was just like, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that. Like, because I never used to be. I'm still not. I'm gonna say, but I do lean a little more towards GD on certain things. But I, back in the 07, 08, 010, I mean, I was a big powerhouse for LiftMaster, man. I love my LiftMaster. Rich has got. He says, remember the old photo eyes with the plug-in connectors? Rich, I'm glad you brought that up, because I do. They are very problematic. But what I can't remember is with those photo eyes, wasn't that only for the box store like Chamberlains? There was always something weird. Like, I don't know if it was like just a weird glitch in the years and then like Chamberlain and LiftMaster did it, or if it was just like, I feel like I remember like the Craftsman's. A lot of Craftsman's had that weird plug-in and they'd always come loose, or the connection would go bad, or they get corrosion on them. That was a big thing here in Michigan with salt and winter and everything. And the worst part is, it was like once they got corroded in there, it was like, you're looking at that little connector, you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? You know what I mean? So it was like, all you could do is replace the photo eyes, snip them and re-splice in new ones or something like that. Eric says, I don't like the LiftMaster safety sensors, but they don't have terminals. They get heavily, the terminals that get heavily corroded. Yeah, the corrosion, man, that was a big one, man, all the time. I felt horrible. You know what I mean? I was just like, geez. I was like, if they were just built into them, and they would have just even put pigtails off and did something different. But I don't know what the whole, I'm just trying to think right off the top of my head, but I can't think of what's the benefit. I mean, were they thinking like, oh, if the photo eye dies, you could just, like I could, you know what I mean? Like I try to think of these things. Like I imagine, like I go to the IDA show, or you go to the vendor, right? They're like, oh, we've made this wonderful improvement. You're like, oh, okay, tell me. And they're like, oh, look now, if you get a bad photo eye, you could just unclip it. How convenient is that going to be? You don't have to snip it, splice it. You can unclip it. You can throw it away. You get a new one, clip it in, and it's like, yeah, the photo eyes typically don't go bad. it's the connections behind them that go bad. Corrosion, broken wire. So I don't know about this. Tony says yes. He says Rich. He goes. They used to quote getting in there with sandpaper and try to clean them up. Ah, a little sandpaper. Da-da-da-da. Eric Scotty says my GD Pro 98 has that. Is it Rich? Tony's got, or you go to replug them in. Ooh, bend the tab. Ooh, yeah, the tabs. Rich's got yes, he says, and Edwards was got preferred the LiftMaster. I never liked GD's limit switches that clamped onto the rails. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. I would agree with that. And then, I'm sure some of you have experienced this. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Who's had it where the GD, right? Like it's like the GD if it sits unplugged, like it doesn't know where it's at. And I bet this has screwed up a lot of technicians. I know it screwed me up at first. I might have threw one away because of it. I don't think I did. I think I was like, why was this thing moving? You know what I mean? And I figured out that you gotta like hold the terminal, and you gotta have somebody push the button, or you gotta jump it, or get a remote. But it's like those screwdrivers would get into a weird funk. Like they didn't know where they're at. Like especially where they sat, it seemed like I noticed. So I always would go up to the front one, push it, hit the button or whatever. It would start running, and it was like it was back to life. But I don't know if I was the only one that had that glitch. I guess an easy way. I don't know. Let me know. You know what I mean? Just say I had the glitch too or something or whatever. Or put number 3. Put number 3 in the comments or something that you had that problem too. Like I said, it was just like I said, it just freak out. And then sometimes it happened where they pass it, because if something would be kinked off. So but yeah, the limits on them were goofy. Sometimes they break, right? You know how that is, right? The plastic would break in half. Oh, that was always fun. You're like just trying to make it because you don't have one on your truck or whatever, just making it work enough for the customer, either till you get back. Oh, those are fun. Those are fun. So that was a good one. Tony's guy, he goes, I'm with you, Edward. He says, Tony says, how Menards used to have the good battery and best. I used to tell my customers it should be shit good and better. I love it. I love it. That's right. It should be like, shit good and better. I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome, man. Oh, man. New Tony says makes the best screwdriver back in the day. The little with the gold case are dead silent. Eric I might have to look that up. Like I said, if you come across a video too, let me know. Because I don't think I know those ones. There was a gold case. I also love the Moromatics. You can find parts, but you can find parts of those. It says with the new one, you can slide a GD. Slide a GD. Was Rich Guy says, is it? Oh, Emery board. Emery board and a prayer. Yes. All those little things. Has anybody experienced? Has anybody been having problems with the new Chamberlain LiftMaster Photo Eyes? Has anybody been having problems with those little stubby ones now? They got the new LEDs. I know the few I've done, they haven't had any issues that I know of. But I just wonder if anybody's, since it's a new technology, if we're having any problems with them out there. I still think was it the GD photo eyes really haven't changed. They're not too problematic. Da-da-da. For lift master, like those GD switches, man. Yeah, I remember those crazy things. What's Tony guy says? This is a Moromatic. He says they've been out for a minute. Yeah, some of that stuff, just isn't around. Just isn't around. I'm wondering how some of you guys, like I said, I still don't get a lot of feedback. That's all right, Eric. Eric says autocorrect is killing me tonight. I don't get a lot of feedback, and I feel like, like with those openers, the new modern openers. Let's say you're obviously like you're going to use the modern ones. I still look at them, and I still keep thinking about just swapping the heads out. I really do. Gosh, I don't know. I just feel like in my heart, I just go, man, if they're over a year, just swap them out with another unit. They're going to have to pay it. But I guess, if you guys could make, I guess if you're at what, parts, whatever's $40-$60, you do a service call, whatever you charge them, maybe $200 instead of whatever you charge. That's just more premier openers. Because you're probably making what, $400-$600. What's Tony guy? He says Rich. He says you don't like those brackets. He says I love them. Ooh, the three contact points. That's for the LiftMaster, right? Those clip-ons. Trying to think of how the new ones. Something's definitely changed with them. They definitely feel really flimsy. I don't know why I still can't get on board with that new long bolt they give you. Like I'm digging through the hardware trying to find that bolt. I'm so used to the round carriage bolt for the photo eyes. Like I'll sit there and just like dig and dig, and it's like finally I gotta like almost dump it out. Like God dang it! I'm like, where is this stupid hardware for this thing? I'll dump it out. It's probably not a bad design when you think about it, because sometimes when you're in a rush, the carriage bolts, you can over tighten them and do a little damage, or they wouldn't bite hard enough maybe to stay where you want them in that cradle. The LED is definitely nice. They are nice and bright. There's no doubt about that. I was always just wondering how long they've been lasting, though. If anybody's been having any issues with them yet for callbacks. They've been shorting out or doing anything weird. All that goofy stuff. Rich's guy says, had them on the Chamberlains. The old Chamberlains. Huh. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask too, Tony, while we're on here. How's things looking for Florida? Are you everything gonna be okay for down there for you, or you just don't know? Time will tell. I got an uncle. I just messaged him. He's in Cape Coral. So he said it sounded like the wind wasn't gonna bother him. It was more of the flooding. That's what he's more concerned about. Tony says, I like how you can just pop off the one contact point, then bolt it to the track. Interesting. There you go, Tony. Make another video of that. I want to see that. Cause I keep getting somebody that's telling me this stuff, and I'm like, bolt pop. I even messed with it a little bit. I'm like, what pops off this thing? Eric Scotty goes, someone recently bought a new excuse me, Craftsman at Lowe's, and he had a LiftMaster 3265. Oh, and just did a head swap and left original eyes. The LiftMaster was full of snowflakes, but get free board from. I get a free board from. Oh, Tony got no stressing out, big time. No stressing out. He says, direct hit. Ooh. Ooh. Dang. Hopefully it gets reduced down, that hurricane. All I feel like is insurance is going up. And then our insurance is going up too. Help pay for all this. It's a bummer. These people, they make enough money as it is. Then they won't take care of you. Ooh, Rich says, who's uses those stupid nail staples? Dude, they used to give you like 2 racks. And at least with the Chamberlain I've been dealing with for like the box stores, they give you like a half of a rack. And when I was working with Caleb, he's like, he kind of says to me something about, he goes, well, how do we staple these? And I was like, well, let me show you, Sonny. And I gave him a little pack, and I'm waiting for him to be like, but he's still young. So he's thinking in his head, right? He's going to do like 1 point at the bottom, 1 point at the top. The rest of it's all going to be squirrely, And I'm like, well, here you go. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, I'm joking. I'm like, we're not using that. I was like, I got a nailer, or a stapler. So we ended up getting that out. But man, they really cheapened down on that stuff. And I get it. I used to use pliers or needles because I'd always smash my fingers. So my fingers are kind of fat. So I'd always use like a pair of little needles to hold it, then smack it with a hammer when I was in a pickle. Ugh. He says, I will run out to the shop now in my PJs. He said to make the video. You guys can watch this tonight. There you go. Sweet. Heck yeah. Do it up. I know. Rich has got Tony. He's like, yeah. Man, there was a lot of people heading out of there. Out of Florida, man. I feel bad. The whole area, geez, down south has been just getting hit, man. I hope this is it. I hope we're done. Tony says, oh, I'm safe. He says, I'm in Indiana, but my vacation home, on the other hand. That's right. It'd be cool to like, I don't even know, like, I don't even know where you like start. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know where you'd go. I don't even know, like, where you're gonna stay. You're gonna stay like in a camper, you stay in a tent, but at some point in my life, you know what I mean, I would love to go down there and either hook up or go with some guys or guy, it don't matter. And if we could, get a few jobs to help out and stuff like that, that'd be pretty cool. But like I said, I just don't have the mental brain power, especially like right now being sick. My brain's not that slick. But to go down there and help out would be really, but then it's like, who's paying for what, or are they just getting them from the box store, and you know what I mean, like what's all the you know, the craziness of, you know, is the FEMA going to stop us? You know, that's a funny thing. Insurance is hard to get in Florida. I know. I hear that's what my uncle says. I think they finally, whatever they have to use, like the state insurance or something like that. It's weird. Eric says, so my friend lived in Florida and had his house destroyed years ago. Now he's probably scared with PTS. Oh my gosh, I know. Phew. That's some crazy stuff, man. It's really crazy. Tony says, yeah, you guys look me up. He says it's Papa Tony 5340 for Tony's garage door service. He's got a lot of short videos too, so it'll pop up. Well, I don't know if it'll pop up that way, but like I said, definitely go over there and subscribe. Like I said, he's got always good stuff on there. Kevin says, FEMA got your back. He says, they'll lend you $750. Oh no, that's the first time I heard of lend. I thought they were giving you, you know. Oh, it's such a joke, isn't it? Eric's guy says autocorrect is annoying tonight. Oh man. Oh, look at it. Tony or Rich's guy, he says, Tony says, where's the house? He says, Tony's guy, he goes, fuck FEMA. Tony's got, excuse my language. Is it inland, he says, but just east of Tampa. Yeah, it's gonna get wicked, man. Like I said, hopefully it drops down. I thought they were saying I thought it was at like a 4 and it might go up to a 5, but they said when it gets closer, it's supposed to weaken. What a direct, man. It's like one of those things I'd be so cool to go there though, to be like in a bubble where you can't like get hurt and all that. You know, I don't know what the fun part about it would be, is just going through the storm, and then if you could just teleport out of there, you know what I mean, to see what's happened or see all the just all the stuff, I guess, in a sense, because you know, for me, I'm just a Michigander. We don't see that kind of stuff. I think the worst that we've seen is I think it was earlier this year. We had a lot of trees, straight line winds tip over, but for the most part, we just don't get anything super crazy. This is place is 90 feet above sea level. Is it Zypher? Is it Zypher Hills? 20 says, but the wind is what I'm worried about. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I don't understand why my uncle, you know, that last storm that went through, that tore his place up pretty good. I know the boats got flipped and it was like the roof. I know he's got to do a roof, so I don't know if he's just because now he's. I didn't even ask him what kind of roof he has. I don't know if it's like they got tile. That's why he's not concerned about the wind anymore. He was more concerned about flooding. So, but maybe I just misheard him or something. It was just text. Wesley, is it Cape? He says. Helbert says, hi, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good tonight. No kid, I gotta go. He says, Wisely Chapel all the time. Costco. Oh, Rich's guy says that's his favorite store. Nice. Nice. Awesome. I probably won't stay out here too much longer because man, I am stuffed up and I don't want to be hooking and luging in front of you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like plus I'm ready. I'm getting close. It's getting close to bedtime. Tony says, yeah, I like my Costco. Tony, when are we gonna get? We need some openers. We need some Costco openers. We need to install. There you go. Got any of those yet? We need a Costco opener install. Eric's guy goes, he's a Costco guy. Supposedly we're getting one built not too far from the shop here. I don't think they've They might be breaking ground right now, but they no foundations or roof or sidewalls or anything like that up yet. So it's probably coming. Tony says, I got a whole pallet of them. He says, do you want one? I did. Oh man, we were gonna get some too, and we did. I don't know what happened. We just got busy. Ooh, that's a good one. I wonder about that too. Rich has got. He goes, is it mandatory evacuation there? That's weird because I know my uncle's kids went up to their place in Ohio. And I seen on the news. I haven't been following it real close, but I seen on the news. They showed all the lines, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm not a very good line person. And especially when you're like trapped. That stuff kind of like makes me go, where's my 4-wheel drive truck? You know what I mean? Big monster truck. I got this. Just drive over. Push all the cars out of the way. I don't want to hurt nobody, but I just like, what's the holdup? So Tony's guy says, no, you don't have to. You don't have to leave. What I was interested about is I was watching. I came across a little clip. I didn't watch the rest of it, but this guy was literally taking great stuff. He sprayed it by the door. I think it was like a glass, like a storefront. He was spraying that. Then he was spraying Flex Seal over it. And he was like explaining it. I didn't have the volume up or something, or I was just like, it was like text. I'm like, great stuff and Flex Seal. What could go wrong? Like I just kind of was like, and somebody else was like, I just take plywood and I like silicone it and screw it to the frames. That works. And I was like, now that seems a little better. And I just thought, great stuff and Flex Seal. Boy, I don't know about that. Like I was like, does it work? Does it not? And he said something about the Flex Seal. I think keeps the great stuff from breaking apart or something like that. I didn't watch all of it. I should have watched more of it because it was interesting. It was interesting. But I can only imagine the panic down there. I wonder if like plywood and stuff like that, OSB and that just goes. Like I wish I could like go down there right now and see, like, go in the store and be like, there is none. Or, oh, there's some here, but it's $120 a sheet. Screw that. Like, I don't know, stuff like that fascinates me. I'm kind of weird like that. Like I always like to see kind of what's going on. I mean, it's gonna be sad what the destruction is gonna be. That's not good because there's no fun when it's your place or anybody's. Expanding foam and Flex Seal goes a long ways. He will probably lose. Is that a bird? Probably lose his bird cage. His house is 10 years old. Probably lose his bird cage. Yeah, man, I tell you, it's just crazy. Just crazy, man. Like I said, definitely, prayers for them because wow, that is, like I said, I couldn't imagine. I just could not imagine. And then the cleanup, like I said, bless all those people, especially in like North Carolina too. Oh my gosh. It's hard because like they don't really show like I don't really see a map of how much it is. I see it's the river, and I'm always like, I'm assuming by now. I keep seeing little clips, and I don't know for sure. I'm assuming they pretty much got most people, but maybe they haven't. Maybe there's still people that are trapped. I mean, a lot of trees, man. When I watched this one guy, gosh, I wish I could remember what his channel was, but that really helped me out. He was on a dirt bike. I think he had an airplane hangar. He was showing, he had video of how it went above his enclosed trailer. That really hit home. You know what I mean? Like I was watching that and I was like, oh my gosh. Like they're showing the cars, they're just, it turned over, obviously, with all the water. That's a mess, man. I just go, oh my gosh. And like I said, the way insurance is nowadays, I I don't even know, like, yikes. So my guess is there will be a market out there pretty soon with enclosed trailers that have been flooded, cars. That'll probably be hitting the U.S. occasionally here when some of that stuff, gets out there. This is around the pool. Oh, the pool screen. Yes, yes. There you go. Oh, hope nothing happens. He's supposed to go in November. Dang. What's that? Edward guy says, I heard China fell for the Flex Seal ad. Used it on fancy new submarine that sank. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I tried a little Flex Seal one time, a little roof patch, whatever. It didn't work worth the hoot. It really didn't work that good. I definitely can't say I'm a fan of their product. I might be just, not using something right. I don't know. Every time I use it, I just go, this stuff is either. But the problem is too is I was using like the clear stuff. The clear stuff is different. It's got to be different. So just something to think about. But anywho, we got 13 likes, you guys. I'm gonna head off here. I'm sick. I'm ready for bed. It's getting chilly up here in Michigan. I'm getting cold. Even got a hoodie on. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good darn night, a good darn day, and I will pray for the people in Florida, the houses and everything, because, oh my gosh, I hope it goes well. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hitting like button. See, like I said, brain's a little slow. Don't forget, watch that video. And go see Tony's, too. Go check out Tony's channel. He needs some help. He gets up to 50. He could probably start doing some lives, it sounds like. And then that way, I can harass him. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you guys. Take care. All right, Tony's out the shop. I'll be looking for it, Tony. I'll be looking for it. We'll see you guys. Have a good night. Over and out.